Vegans may disagree with other vegans, and that's okay. But it's the topic on which we disagree that may be hurtful or helpful to the vegan movement. It's one thing for vegans to disagree with non-vegans on the topic of animal liberation, but it's quite another thing for vegans to disagree with other vegans on anything outside the topic of animal liberation.
Now, we are not immune to taking sides. Of course, we all agree and disagree on different issues. This entire video is going to be our opinion. But let's make one thing clear. The only thing that vegans all have in common, or should have in common, per the definition of veganism, is that we all believe in a future where animals are no longer exploited for human consumption and convenience. Outside of that, we are just like any other human being, and we disagree on a variety of topics.
If you're new to veganism, you might be wondering, what are these topics that vegans disagree on? Well, it can be anything from the definition of veganism itself, to whether disruptions are an effective form of activism, to the phrasing you use to describe animal exploitation, to whether wearing a shirt like this provokes a laugh or turns people off, whether meatless Mondays are good for the animal rights movement, whether we should kill all carnivores across the globe, to anything else outside of veganism, like whether the Earth is in fact a globe, or religion, politics, the COVID vaccine. You get the idea. Now, when it comes to disagreements outside of all things vegan, what tends to happen is many vegans will draw parallels across all kinds of different issues. Why? Well, because violence towards animals has been so normalized in our society that it is invisible to most people. So when we wake up and find ourselves outside the matrix, so to speak, we start to wonder what other things we've overlooked, what are other issues we haven't been aware of, whether it has to do with religion or politics and other areas of life. We might even start to wonder who else is in on this web of lies, and that is often how conspiracy theories are born. However, the difference between veganism and a conspiracy theory is that violence towards animals can be easily proven by anyone. Just go to your local grocery store.
But as far as disagreements go among vegans, whether it's about veganism or not, we feel that that energy is best devoted towards exercising your activism towards non-vegans. As long as you are authentic in your delivery and your activism remains centered on the victims, the movement will benefit. An example of when the movement does not benefit non-human animals is when the focus is shifted back to us humans. For example, nowadays social media is populated by the self-image obsessed, and that has gotten enmeshed with veganism because health and image is often another parallel that people tend to draw. However, as vegans, we know that there's no such thing as a health vegan or a fitness vegan or a vegan diet. Veganism is always 100% about the ethics. It's about the animals. So you're either vegan or you're not. We know that sometimes this obsession with fitness and image can be a problem and confusing as it pertains to veganism. This is why we choose to always stay focused on non-human animals. Now, we realize that social media perpetuates this problem, particularly Instagram, in its endless cycle of creating this insatiable need for reassurance, falsely feeding into that reassurance, and ultimately wreaking havoc on people's self-esteem.
Also, when we hang in our social media circles, like tends to attract like. That's how the algorithm works. We enjoy being surrounded by people who think similarly to the way we do. And we get used to being in this artificial online bubble. The mistake many vegans make is when they assume that just because they're vegan, other vegans are going to agree with them about everything else. And people get so serious about this, they go as far as to unfollow or block people who disagree with them, even if they both agree on the topic of animal liberation.
Now, if you're not vegan and you're thinking, well, then it's okay for me to think that eating animals is perfectly fine. No, that's not what we mean. When your viewpoints inspire violence towards others, whether they are non-human animals or human animals, that is no longer a matter of opinion, it is a matter of ethics. Well, people disagree about ethics all the time, you might say. Yes, they do. But what we're looking for is consistency in someone's ethical framework. If you personally see a problem with the way dogs are treated in the Yulin Dog Meat Festival, for example, but you see no problem whatsoever with the way pigs are treated all over the world, every single day, that is an inconsistency in how you view the treatment of animals. Full stop. We know that veganism has been around for decades now, but what's new to everybody is having access to discourse with all different types of people all over the world, from all different types of religions, cultures, backgrounds, upbringings, with the click of a button on a device that is nearly always in your pocket.
People, not just vegans, are growing more and more intolerant of different viewpoints. And aren't we trying to celebrate being different? Vegans are not all the same. We don't all fit into one mold, one category. We do agree that animals should not be exploited for needless reasons, such as a sandwich or a coat or a comforter. And as long as we keep the animal victims at the center of our discussion, vegans can disagree with other vegans about anything else. And that is okay.